We are very happy to be back in our program, Unlimited Faith. And we have a special guest with us today. Very, very, very happy that Nicole Morales is here with us. I've known Nicole for a couple of years. No. I've known you all your life, actually. And she's very dear to me. Her folks are very dear to me. And you're not like family. You're family to me. So I'm glad that you made the time to be here. I have a lot of love and respect for you. And I wanted us to start with this, Nicole. Uh, I know that sometimes for especially new parents to be able to see into the future, and I guess for most people, and we all get stuck in the moment, and that might affect how we view things, how we view responsibilities, and how we view opportunities. Because I believe that now, after knowing what I know, that children are tremendous opportunities,
Hmm.
to do amazing things for the world. And if we understand that, we could probably, as parents, can do a much better job in training them and preparing them for those opportunities of leadership and actually making an impact in the world. So there's a scripture that you're familiar with. It says that train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he grows old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs
Yeah.
22:6. Tell us about that. Tell us about your experience growing up at home, and your father's teachings, your mom's
Hmm.
examples and teachings, and tell us about that.
It's a beautiful verse, first of all. I really love that verse because to me it means that no matter, where life takes you or where you go on your journey, I feel like that is what you learn when you grow up, that is always with you. That will always be in your heart and somehow you will always revert back to that. And I think that it's a guiding light along the way, even if it's not as prominent sometimes. It's always there. But I have felt that in my own life because there have been times I think most of my teenage years, it's a little easier to stray during that time. So for me, that verse was most meaningful a little after that in college. So I got back to the Word and to really pursuing my relationship with Christ. It very different than when I was in high school. But my point is that I would always remember what my father and my mother taught me as a child, and that never left me, no matter how much I did stray. So I would say that the biggest thing for me was purpose. I think my dad really engraved that in me and my brothers to always serve your purpose, to really discover it, and to see how you're able to serve others. Because, like you said at the retreat, you're here to serve. Your overall purpose is to serve God and to bring glory to Him. So my thing that my whole life, I think though that was probably what I focused on most was what is my purpose specifically, not just serving, but how am I going to serve? And I think for me, that that happened through entertainment. That's what I've always loved, and that's the path that I want to take. So I feel like my purpose is to use entertainment, which is a huge platform, and really shed some light on important topics like purpose itself, service, finding stories that really encourage those types of values, and I feel like that's how I could really serve a purpose in my life.
I remember when you were little, your mom sending you to some special training
Oh
for
yeah, I acted.
modeling
I was not
or
good.
acting or something, right?
No, yeah.
Right?
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
Not good.
And um, because I knew at the time that your mom was and your dad both wanted to lay the strongest foundation possible and to open a world of opportunities for you.
Hmm.
And um, a lot of people might see you, they see the things that you have been exposed to and or accomplished, and they don't understand that there's a whole bunch of challenges that had to be overcome. And
Yeah, absolutely.
tell us about that part of your life, because there's that saying that if you want to get to the flower, to the rose, right, you got to go through the thorn, and people don't usually
Hmm.
want to go through the thorn, you
Oh
know.
no, yeah, I didn't either. Well, I would say I did this program. It's called the Page Program at NBC, and I really wanted to do it straight out of college. That was my goal. I was you have to have a certain GPA to get accepted, and I was below that, but I had one semester to really take it up a notch and get there. So I did end up getting where I needed to be, and I was like, that's perfect. I'm on my way. I can apply. And so I did. I did not get in, and I was heartbroken. I really wanted it. And just society just really puts this pressure on you to really get into something as soon as you've graduated.
Right,
So
right.
I was like, I need to get in because like I'll have 3 months of doing nothing, and I'll be such like I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have a break. I wanted to get it going, and so I applied. I didn't get in. Heartbroken. I I'm telling you, the first voice I heard in my head was my dad. When are you going to try again? Because I had also auditioned for the X Factor ones, and I did not get past like the first round. I sung, and I was like, this was when he was around, and I was like, I didn't get in. He was like, okay, when are you going to try again? Like, he didn't even care that I was upset. He just wanted to know when I was going to try again. And that always stuck with me, even though I didn't audition for the X Factor again. I remembered it when I didn't get into the Page program, and I was like, okay, Nicole, when are you going to try again? And so 3 months passed, and I tried again. I didn't get in still, and I was so devastated. I was like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like it's all there on my resume. I don't know what I'm doing.
The second time, were you like, I'm gonna get in this time? Did you feel like
The
that?
second time, I felt even more defeated, honestly. But when you know you want to do something and you know that it's for you, I knew that the Page program was for me. I have had very little examples in my life of where I know I need to do something and where I know for certain that's the path I need to take. This was one of those, and I knew that's where I needed to be. So
Uh-huh.
I was like, okay, I'm going to try again in 3 months. And so I really analyzed my interview because it's a like a what's like a FaceTime interview type of thing where you do it through the laptop. And so I really analyzed like, what am I doing wrong? And
So this is not even like a live face to
it's three
face.
rounds. It's an essay, and then it's a FaceTime, and then the third round is panel interviews where they have a panel of people and you give a speech, and they ask you questions in front of like your peers who are also applying. So
So
anyway, I
your
never got
first.
past the second round.
Oh, okay, okay.
And so then the third time, oh, I'm sorry, I analyzed what I was doing wrong, and I read books. I read a book called Presence about how you should really have a presence about you, and then maybe that'll make the difference. And I really felt like that helped. So I tried to read books and figure out like what I was doing wrong just to improve for the third time, because I was like, I really need to get in the third time. This is not good. And so the third time came around, and I finally made it to the third round, which was panels. And I was like, that's it. I don't even need to. I know me getting to the third round to me was, I'm going to get in. I really felt compelled that I was going to get in. So I was ecstatic. And yeah, and I got in. And then the best part about this is that you enter with a group of like somewhere in between 8 and 12 people. And the people that I was with in my cohort, one of the guys, he's a Christian, and we clicked so well, and his dad had also passed away. And it could not have been more orchestrated. I really felt like God gave me those two opportunities to improve myself and then also be in this cohort where I can find someone that also had similar experiences to me and that I could share and then really grow with. So we've been close ever since. We talk about the word, we talk about what we want to do in the business and the vision that we have for our production companies and all of this stuff. And it's really empowering. And I always feel like that's the cohort I was supposed to be in. That's the time I was supposed to be there. And, it just doesn't work out the way you want to, but it's something.
So all things came together.
100%.
The right people, the right timing.
Yeah.
I wanna come back to that after we take this pause, because a lot of times when we are in that process, we grow so impatient
Yeah.
because we want God to do a certain thing, and we want Him to do it our way, right? And we want Him to do it within the time limit that we need or we want. And a lot of times that's not the best for us, and things are not going to come out that way, that perfect according to our own plan.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out differently. But it's going to be better, not worse, but better,
yeah,
right?
better. Not even like okay. It's gonna be better.
So I want you to
Yeah.
tell us about that right after this brief pause. Okay, we'll be right back.
You are invited to Success is Believing with David Sariñana to put your faith in action. An author, conference speaker, a spiritual leader, a successful businessman, David Sariñana will guide you to truth principles.
We are back. We're back with Nicole Morales, and this is really interesting. So tell us what happens now. You're in. You meet the right people.
Yeah.
What are you seeing now?
So now the whole program is 3 months where you rotate. Every 3 months you rotate within the company into different departments. And so NBC Universal is like has a huge portfolio. They have the theme park. They have a bunch of different cable productions. They have Fandango, a bunch of different things. So my first 3 months were with the parks, the theme park, and that was really fun. It also wasn't something that I wanted to do at all. I still know I want to do film, but that's another instance where I was like, fine, God's gonna put me here for a reason. I don't understand it, but let's go, let's do it. And so 3 months I was at the park, and I was paired with a page in my cohort that I actually was not very fond of.
Right.
And I was like, wow, of course, like I get the guy I'm not even like that close to. And so I was like, all right, fine. But me and that guy, Hovik, he ended up being one of my best friends throughout the entire experience. And that's another way that God just like makes it so that you may not like understand what's going on, but there is always good that comes out of it, and that never fails.
Purpose.
Ever never fails. And so it was a great experience. I spent 3 months at the parks, and then after that I went to Focus Features, and I did publicity. Publicity was also something I was interested. That was fun. I knew it wasn't for me.
So what is Focus Feature? What is
Focus
that?
Features is a production company. It's a film company, and I really would love to end up back there one day. I really love the projects they do. I'm trying to think of like.
So what were the things that you were exposed to there?
I did a lot of like whatever when a movie comes out, or they're promoting it on the trades. The trades are like Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, things like that. My job was to go in and see how many times the film was mentioned by news reporters or journalists. And so I would pull those articles and then send them out to the president of the company and like every other important exec within the company so that they could see how frequent they were being promoted and how and like what was being said about them. So I did a lot of that, just the promotion side of film, not so much the creative, but it was a good
Exposure.
yeah, great exposure, because I wouldn't have known. It's very important to the film. If it's not promoted, it's not.
Not going anywhere.
No.
So how long were you there for?
3 months.
Okay. So each module.
Each thing is 3 months. Yeah,
3
yeah,
months.
yeah. And then after that, I went to E, like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, a lot of reality television. Not my cup of tea as far as entertainment or TV, but it was great because that was marketing. And so I got to see a little bit of marketing and how they do that, a lot of promotion as well. It's very similar to Focus Features. Great exposure still. Just a lot of this program is figuring out what you don't want to do also. So that was very
That's
helpful.
really deep.
Yeah. And then after that, the last 3 months, I was with Universal Cable Productions, and that was awesome. I got to see the set of like a television show, Homecoming, which is going to be out on Amazon. I saw Julia Roberts at a distance. I saw, who else did I see? I saw someone else. I can't remember, but it was amazing. It was really cool to be on set. I'd never done that before. And I grew really close with my supervisors, who I'm seeing tomorrow, like at a networking event. And so that was a huge blessing in that I was like, man, I'm doing all of these awesome things, but I'm not really connecting with my supervisors the way I really want to.
Right,
I need to like, something needs to stick so that I can have these connections forever. And this was the one, I didn't even want it. I wanted another assignment, but this was the one where my supervisors, I'm still talking to them today. And that's another thing where it's like, you may not want to do this, but God says, I'm going to place you here, and this is where you're going to get what you wanted. I had forgotten that I wanted supervisors to stick around, and you get so lost or so distracted by like the cool, glittery assignment that you forget what you wanted when you came into this. And that was people that could mentor me and
And
I
that's
could keep around.
it's so important that you were able to refocus and re-identify
That's
that
exactly what
because
it did.
you
It
know
focused, yeah.
because a lot of times you're right, you lose track of the reason, the
Mhm.
why of the
Yeah,
whole thing,
absolutely.
and you might be having a lot of fun,
Uh-huh.
and in some instances you might be making a lot of money, but you're off track your purpose,
So true,
and so
yeah.
it's going to cause some delays there in the development. So what else you've done some really fun things.
Yeah, I got to attend some events like the Emmys, the Oscars, the red carpet beforehand where they need to test out cameras and see if like the mics are working. So I had to pretend to be certain celebrities with what is it? Like a name plaque
Uh-huh.
of a celebrity. And so I'd pretend to be them, and then they'd ask me questions and I'd answer. That was also very fun. But like you said, it's so easy to get distracted by
Distracted.
these things, and then you also forget. But in these last 3 months, they also give you a 3 month period to find a job. And I didn't find a job in those 3 months. But I also, in those 3 months, was refocused the way you said. And I realized these things that were being offered to me, though they were great, and I really wanted to make money and I needed to get on. Like, I didn't want to be the last person in my cohort not to find a job. And that is the case still right now. But I realized that everything that was being offered to me was not in line with what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to waste time anymore because I felt like I had already done that after college, even though it worked out the way it was supposed to. I felt like I would be wasting time if I took a TV finance job because I don't want to do TV finance. I really want to do film. I know that's where I need to be. And so that's still why I'm holding out on that. And I think my mom has been a big encourager of that in holding on to that and really believing and declaring and knowing that God is going to deposit something in your path very soon. So it's just a matter
So in this whole process, God has brought people to your life,
of.
and I can, because I know you, I can always, I'm almost guarantee this, that you're expecting uh, these people that God is sending your way, and they're thinking that they're there to help you, to encourage you, to guide you, inspire you, whatever the case may be. But I'm almost sure that they probably walked away from you pretty much inspired themselves. So did anything interesting like that happen?
I really don't want to humble brag.
That's
That's
okay.
not
It's
what I'm
okay.
trying to do, but I'm trying to give you an example of what you're saying. And we have a graduation for the cohort. After, when they're done with the program, they'll
Right,
have a
right, right.
graduation. And one of the people in your cohort will speak on behalf of everyone and like say something. And the girl that spoke, Chiza, she's one of my dear friends also. She was amazing. And she mentioned a time when she was really stressed because these assignments can be very stressful. They work you like an assistant. I mean, it's a lot. But she was very stressed one of these days, and she talking about like everything that she had to do, and I was like, it's okay. You're planting seeds everywhere. All these little things that you're doing, it's fine. It's okay. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing, because if you're not planting these little seeds and you're just at your desk and you're doing nothing to contribute, you're not going to get anything out of it. And I know it's stressful. I was just trying to be an encouraging, just encouraging. And she was like, "You're right. You're so right." And so then she mentioned that at the graduation, and she said that she felt so encouraged and she felt relieved, and that I was I don't remember exactly what she said, but that's exactly what she needed to hear. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just trying to get her not to be so stressed, but I do it without realizing it. And I think that that's just something, like, to come back to what we first mentioned. That's how I grew up, was to my mom's very much like that. I think she's very encouraging and very good at calming people down and saying the right things when they need to be heard. So I feel like that's a part of me, and I don't realize it when I do it, but I think people do. And so it was really nice to see that I was able to impact her in some form.
Yeah, because it's important. That's why I bring it up, because
Yeah.
we get stuck in the journey at
Mm-hmm.
hand, right? And the desired outcome that we want,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't let go of who we are.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah,
light
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to convince itself that it has to shine.
Mm-hmm.
It just lights. It's a light.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
So in that process of acquiring, accomplishing, right, the things that we want, we're walking and we're light. So we have to shine, and it's okay that people realize that people notices us, because that's the way it should be. It's supposed to be that way.
Absolutely. Yes.
And so that I had to get that out of you. So I want to talk about something that I know that your mom is, and you mentioned this. I don't know, somewhere, some gathering that we had. Maybe it was at her birthday party.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
she was always impressed by your writing skills,
She was. Yeah.
and well, she is.
She is, yeah.
yeah. So she would be the one picking up your writings, and sometimes I would get the blessing of getting a copy of those, or actually the original, and getting to read that. And because I enjoy it, I enjoy what you write, because I understand that it is just a manifestation of what you have in your heart, in your mind. And tell us about that. I don't know where you are there. You're still writing.
Well, I mean, I write in my journal every day, and even though that sounds insignificant maybe to people, that's a difficult thing, to be very consistent in writing every single day and reflecting on your day and trying to see what you got from your day and then seeing how you can improve on that tomorrow. That in itself is an exercise that I really value. That was something my dad did. I modeled that, and I still try to be as consistent as possible. So in that way, I do write. Writing the way she would like me to write, I don't do. But the the page program is filled with so many talented writers that want to be writers, television, film writers, that it made me see, like, oh, maybe I can do this. It doesn't sound so far-fetched when I'm surrounded by people that are actually doing it. So when I was with those people, I think it gave me a little more, it convinced me to, like, maybe get back into it. So I have been jotting down, like, ideas of what I think would be a good concept for a television show or a film. And then once I'm gonna read a book on how to, like, break down a screenplay and how to write. That's my next move. Once I do that, I feel like I can get it going, but I don't have anything written. But it is something in the back of my mind, and my mom is my biggest fan. I think that what he was talking about was that I would throw away the S's that I'd written in high school and in college, because I wanted it for the grade, really. And I got the grades I wanted, and I would trash them after, but my mom would go through my trash. I'm not sure if that's what I don't know what she was looking for, but that she would find the papers, and she would save them, and she would give them to whoever was in the office, David, I'm sure, Rose, my tia, and they would read them. And so that was really encouraging to see someone else think that my writing is good, because you are your biggest critic,
Of
I
course,
think.
of course.
So to see someone else really recognize that is also.
My understanding of life is that, and I was just having a conversation with Dr. Silva, because he grows up, his parents, doctors, his dad, his mom. He grows up in a doctor's family. He becomes a doctor. So most of his adult life, he's thinking of himself as a doctor until he meets me, right? And then I said, well, you practice medicine, but you're not a doctor. You're a child of God, that you're capable of doing anything that you want to do. All right. And so I'm trying to, that's the message for you, right? That you go in this, and yeah, you have a certain passion for something that God has put in your heart, but knowing that you can do anything that you want to do because
Yeah.
you have that capability.
No limit. Yeah, absolutely.
And that opens a whole another world of possibilities.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So tell me about in your journey, and now you've done some interesting things.
Mhm.
Now you have a couple of younger brothers.
They're my sons almost.
They're all your sons.
They're
Tell me about that relationship because I think this is a really interesting relationship. And how do you see yourself, and how do they view you? Most importantly.
you see me beaming up because of James and Isaac and Paul too, of course. But Paul has been like not my partner in crime. I don't even like that term, but he's just been with me for longer than James and Isaac have been, obviously. So Paul, I don't really view as like my child. I see him more as like my partner
Your buddy.
my buddy in the family. Yeah, James and Isaac. They are. I have seen them since they were babies. Seen them grown up. With Paul, I was growing up with him. So to see the boys, James and Isaac. When I say the boys, James and Isaac. When I see them growing up, it really just feels like I've been like a second mother, and I'm sure my mom would attest to that as well. But I changed their diapers. I've been with them the entire step of the way, especially during the time when my dad passed away. I think that just kicked it up a notch even more, where you really wanted to be like a parenting figure. And maybe I'm not the parenting figure that I want to be when I have my own children, but I try to be as the most model-like figure that they can follow. And so I try to foster their talents and try to really encourage and see the highlights in them and push them forward with those things. So James is very, very smart, and he is disciplined. He's a little adult. He's disciplined.
Yes, he is.
And he's wonderful. I mean, he is as perfect a child as you can get. When he comes home, does his homework. He started lifting weights, so he's lifting weights after that. And then he'll read every single day. He does everything he needs to do before he gets to the fun stuff. And that's hard for a child to do, and I think that's amazing. So I'm constantly telling him...
How old is James now?
13. So I'm constantly telling him, to continue those habits because he has a 4.0 GPA and he's so ecstatic about that. But I'm telling him it doesn't stay there by itself. It's because of this hard work that you're at this level, and that has to continue until high school and college and after that. And so with him, I don't really need to tell him much because he knows, and it's awesome. It's just a matter of encouragement. Isaac's a little different in academics. He just struggles a little bit more, but my goodness, this boy is athletic. He is so, he plays baseball. He's very good. He made All-Stars. He's just an all-around athlete. He's so good, and I really try to encourage that because that I feel like has helped him in his academics, because if he doesn't do well in academics, he can't play baseball. So I think that that's really been a helpful force for him. But they're both awesome, awesome kids. And I am always just trying to remind them that they have a purpose and remind them that they need to always put God first and trust that he has, that his plan is correct and that they just need to follow that. And so, I would try to encourage Paul the same thing, even though it's a little harder with an adult, but no, they're wonderful kids. And I feel like they've been a bigger blessing to me. Yeah. Huge. I can't even, because it makes me think twice about what I do, about what I say. But yeah, the biggest blessing has been for me, because I don't even know how different it would be if they hadn't been around, especially during everything that had happened. So yeah, they were fantastic. Great.
So good to hear, Nicole. Oh my goodness, I've been trying to do this for a lot of months. I'm glad that we're able to do it, and we didn't finish because there's something else that I want to ask you, but I'm going to ask her right off the air and see how you feel about that one. But thank you so much. Thank you for being with us and
Absolutely.
sharing your
Pleasure.
part of your life with our audience. And I know that you have enjoyed it. And tune in because we're gonna get Nicole back here. So thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I hope
Thank
that you
you.
had a tremendous time with us. We say goodbye for now. Our program, Unlimited Faith.